Okay.
So whenever you're ready, if you just want to give a little bit of silence and then then start, and I'll just cut out the bit.
Okay.
Wait, where's my oh, Greg commercial? There it is. Blog. Okay.
Give me a second here. I've got to do my. I'm going to turn off my. How do I do my do not disturb notifications?
Top right. And
right.
as an FYI, the thumbnails are always visible. I can't turn those off now on the bottom right.
I don't even see what that means.
It means that we're always able to see a thumbnail of you. So if you pick your nose or get up and walk away, it shows. Unfortunately,
we'll have to look at find a new platform
next time.
Let me know when you're ready, Greg, and then I'll start.
The heck? Okay. Anyone?
I'm going to start in just a moment. I'm just rearranging a couple things on my screen here quick so that I'm not looking down at my lowest screen when my camera is up high. So, sorry. Got it. Okay. 3, 2, 1, silence. It's time for Westside Technology Declassified, where we reveal the inner workings of technology operations at District 66. This is episode number 11, recorded March 22nd, 2017. Matt Lee and Greg Betts are here with me again, and we're going to be focusing, among other things, Gmail Power Search tips, district technology and its relationship to our district budget, some book and lynda.com recommendations, staying safe online, Google Team Drives, and possibly more. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thanks. When I left home in Blair this morning, it was snowing.
I had a little bit of sleet as I was driving in.
You know, there's giant flakes about the size of Frisbees falling, it seemed like.
Did you escape it, Greg?
Yeah, I did not have any of that type of precipitation at my house. So the weather forecasters got it right. They said it was going to be just about up there by the Blair line. So Paul, good for you. A little wintry mix for you to start the day.
Yes. Well, we're going to start quickly today and just I'm going to do a very, very quick tip to get us going. I'm going to share my screen here and show. Are you seeing my search operators you can use with Gmail? Is that what you guys are seeing for me?
Yes.
We're seeing it.
Okay, excellent. So one of the things that I find is with all of the, thousands of emails we get a week, sometimes it's, and also the ones that we send, that it's sometimes difficult to go and find the ones that we are looking for at different periods of time. So if you actually just do a Google search for search operators in Gmail, and we can put this link in the show notes, can't we, Matt?
Yeah, yep. If you want to send that to me, I'll get it in the show notes.
Okay. But anyway, if you just search for search operators you can use with Gmail or any combination of that, there's a list of about, I'm just going to scroll through all of them. There's probably about 40 different commands that you can put in your Gmail when you're logged in your Google Mail that you can put in. And the format is usually like this very first one. If you wanted to find an email that was specifically from one particular person, as this example is if their first name was Amy, all you would type in would be the word from, a colon, and then the word Amy into that search bar in your Gmail. and it would go and find all of your emails that have been from anyone named Amy.
And I believe you could even enter the full email address there, right? To see all the emails that came from a specific address.
Exactly. But the more information you get, sometimes that you put in, the more opportunity you have to get wrong. So, if you just have a little bit of information, sometimes that's better than even putting in a whole bunch. But you're correct. You can put in an entire email address and it would search for that as well. You
For
can
example,
do this.
if I was trying to, I knew that Greg had sent me an email, I could do from Greg's email address and then see a list of everything that Greg's ever sent me. And
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And you can do the same thing with things that you have sent to people. So you could send the same way to : and then Greg's full address, and that would find all the messages that you have ever sent to Greg. And so I'm not going to belabor all of these. There's many different ones. You can search for what's in a subject line, an attachment, file name that's attached, subject line, all these things. And then in addition, you can actually combine things. So I'm just going to highlight this one here, is that in addition to just putting in one thing, you could also put in from Amy or from David, and it would also find all of the messages that were from Amy and also all of them that were from David. And so, and if you use the word, you can also do combinations of and different things like that. So I'm not going to belabor this, but this is a great resource. We'll put it in the show notes, but it just really shows a lot of different ways that you can powerfully search your Gmail.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, Paul. I think that'll be helpful for a lot of people as they deal with the ever increasing amount of email that we both send and receive.
So next on our agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about technology and its relationship to our budget. Dr. McCann presented to the Westside Board of Education on Monday night about our budget and our attempt to our desire to balance the budget and the things that we're going to be doing as a district in order to reduce our spending. And this may seem counterintuitive, but one of the ways that we're proposing that we're going to save money on technology is by getting all new technology.
Yeah, so I know just kind of being out and about, I've started to hear a few questions, and I think this podcast is a great place to kind of ask the expert and just kind of throw some of those questions out there, and hopefully we can address some of people's concerns, questions, and just kind of lay bare kind of our thought process behind going through and doing a refresh this upcoming year. And so I guess, Paul, my first question to you is...
I'm the expert?
You are the expert,
okay.
Yes.
The number one expert.
Number one. So I think the first question is, so we are in a budget crunch. Why are we getting brand new devices this year? I mean, it seems like the old ones are still working. Why are we getting brand new ones?
Okay, so the story behind that is our current devices, again, are in pretty good shape right now and doing well for us. But the reality is that our devices currently have more resale value in them at this point in time that they'll have at the end of this school year than they will have in 12 additional months at the end of the next school year, when the original plan was to refresh and get rid of our old technology and bring in new technology. So what we're forecasting is this point in time, we can both sell off all of our teacher and student devices, the iPads and the laptops, plus also cash in our last year of Apple warranty. And those things combined will actually, we're forecasting, will be enough to pay off our year 4 lease payment on our Apple lease. So that will retire that payment. Then we will get new devices for students and teachers. And our new lease will actually be about $300,000 a year less in technology costs compared to if we would have continued with the old lease for another year. So by getting new technology selling off the old stuff while it still has more value, we can actually get new things and actually save about $300,000 a year.
So that's pretty impressive. So we'll finish out what we have, sell that back, get new devices, and end up saving quite a bit of money over the next 4 years, right?
That is correct.
Very cool. So now, without getting into too many specifics, are the types of devices that people have, are those going to stay the same for next year? So if I'm at the middle school and the high school and I'm used to having a MacBook and my kids have MacBooks, am I going to still have a MacBook? If I'm at the elementary and my kids have an iPad, are they still going to have an iPad? Can you speak a little bit to kind of what the thought process was behind that?
Yeah, our goal was to really maintain continuity as much as we can. We want students and teachers to have confidence and not have to be, always trying to find the piece of cheese that's moved if we move from one technology to another. And so we really wanted to maintain as best we can the environment that we've already provided so that people can continue to grow and work to better and more implement technology into their learning and instruction. And so student devices will be iPads of similar size. They'll have larger hard drive space in those iPads. Elementary teachers will also get new iPads just like the students will, like they did in the last refresh. Teachers, we still are planning on getting 13-inch MacBook Airs, and secondary students would still be getting 11-inch MacBook Airs.
Very cool. So we really are being able to keep things where we're at with the great access to technology, but really just finding ways to save money.
Exactly. So it's really, 3 years ago, we just changed a lot of things. We changed Gmail. We talked about getting rid of Blackboard and, all kinds of things we want to let everybody just settle down and relax. And we're keeping the same email. We're keeping Blackboard, keeping the same basic devices. Lynda.com is going to continue. So all of those resources, we just want to give everybody an opportunity to just continue to make great use of those and try to really minimize the changes that we do.
I think that's going to be comforting for a lot of people because change can always be difficult. And so this is kind of nice that we can keep the continuity with what we've had as we move forward. So I think that begs the question, though. I like the idea. I like the fact that, we'll be getting new and updated devices this summer or whenever, that ends up rolling out to people, but in time for next school year. Is there anything that I need to, as a teacher, is there anything that I would need to worry about right now? Is there anything that I need to do right now? Or is this something where I just need to kind of, hold off and wait and more information will be forthcoming? Or can you give any guidance to that?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a wait and see. We haven't placed any orders yet. We haven't, signed any lease agreements or anything. So it's still a little bit a work in progress, but we are going to go ahead with the refresh because we really need to save that $300,000. So we will be moving ahead with that with quite certainty. But we just want you to kind of hang on for now. And one of the best thing that you can do in preparation is something that you should always be doing is making sure that you have a good backup. Make sure you are moving documents that are important to you up to your Google Drive and possibly having an external backup drive that you can use a time machine backup. Having those things in place will help things be a lot easier down the road when we're ready to make a transition from your old machine to a new machine.
Cool. So I have a couple more questions here. One that I've just been hearing all throughout this year, even before we announced that we're doing the refresh here, is what's going to happen to the devices? Can I put in a reservation now to buy mine or to buy one of my colleagues' MacBooks or iPads? Is there a process for that or what's the status on purchasing devices?
That's going to be something I'm just going to have to ask people to be patient and wait and see. In my email that I sent out yesterday to the district, when we do have news about that, whether we're going to be able to sell devices locally, we'll certainly not spend as much time as we did the last time selling locally. We'll probably be selling a large bulk of them to either directly to Apple or to a third-party buyer. But whether we can or can't sell locally, there's some things that are up in the air right now. But I will guarantee you, we will announce those things on the district website publicly. Working with Director of Communications, Brandy Peterson, she'll be announcing any of those things on our district Facebook page. So make sure that you're subscribed to that and subscribe to the district Twitter feed. Make sure that those will be the places where any information about selling those devices what's going to be happening will be done there. So please don't take up our time with questions about this, because in my email kind of jokingly said, early inquiries will be ignored, but I wasn't joking. So just wait and see. As we have decisions made and information available, we'll be putting it on those three at least platforms of information dissemination.
So if I were to just summarize what you said, we're going to be refreshing a year early because we found out that selling devices back now would allow us to kind of renegotiate our finances with Apple, save us about $300,000 a year. And in the process, we'd be getting new devices. But if I'm if I'm a classroom teacher right now, there's nothing that I need to do or worry about outside of just making sure I continue to back things up, put things on Google Drive, and really just kind of sit back, do that, and then wait for more information to come out through the website and through different social media channels?
Yes. One other thing I'd throw in is, please encourage your students and you also to take good care of your devices, because that really helps us as a district. The better shape that the devices are in when we ultimately sell them to whoever we're going to sell them to, the better the quality, the state that the devices are in, the more we'll get from that, and the further we're down the road to paying off our final lease payment. So we always encourage people to take good care of their machines. Don't lose them. Don't, drop them in your bathtub, etc. All the horrible things that can be done to a device. Please take care of them.
Hey, Paul, my neighbor's friend's cousin who lives down the street knows someone who might want one because I think their previous laptop was dropped in the bathtub. Can you put one on hold for me?
I think we lost Paul.
I think that must have been like, no, I'm not going to answer that because the answer is not. He wasn't joking.
I don't think he was. I think he just took himself out of this conversation.
He said, nope, we are not addressing those. He was serious.
He was very serious. Well, while we work on getting him back here, Greg, did you have something you wanted to share with us about a kind of a new project you've been working on?
Oh, sure. So with the professional learning website, we've started a blog site on there, and we are encouraging anyone in the district to write for our blog. There's a few categories. Morning coffee is just kind of fun stories. There is a technology strand. I'll come back to that here in just a minute. Instruction, personalized learning, professional learning, and just educational conversations, things that are coming up. But the technology I wanted to focus on for this would be anything that teachers are using or experiences that they've had, techniques that they have found that have really worked for them, to please write for us, and we'll be happy to post their story on our technology blog. I wrote a few on there, but they were more to-dos, and usually those will fall underneath your website there, Matt, at Area 66 for the how-tos. So we're really looking for some stories of how I've used technology, how I'm leveraging technology, maybe some success stories on how to blend some of that learning.
So if I'm on your website here, where would I go to find that blog?
So Matt, underneath About Us, you would click blog. And then you can see all of our categories that we have.
Oh, cool. And so if I enter my email here, I'll get updates?
If you decide to subscribe, yes, anytime a new blog comes on, an email is just sent to your whatever address that you put in, and you can stay current with the information that we're sharing.
Very cool. And so this is open to anybody, right? You don't have to be a Westside employee to see this. So if people found something interesting, they'd be able to share it with others?
Absolutely. So I believe you're under Morning Coffee right now. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple fun stories about like what's the best bag for a teacher. What's the best water bottle? So those are just very light, fun stories. And we had a couple teachers from Paddock actually respond on Twitter how that inspired them to actually get a new bag and water bottle. So,
Oh, very cool.
so that was kind of fun there too.
I'm just looking here using sponge activity. So you have some instruction focused things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is really cool.
So it's just started, so there's not a lot of content on there yet. And we are encouraging, teachers always talk about, oh, that'd be great to write a story about, or I wish I could publish that. This is a great way to get started, get your feet wet on that, and be able to share your story.
So this is actually open for anybody to submit items to you for publication?
Absolutely, yep. The process would go to me, would go through a review. We're looking for 500, 600 words, nothing too long. We found that blogs, once they get too long, people don't read them. So it's to grab your interest, and then we would help you with some different graphics and pictures to put on there. So
awesome.
Yeah,
that looks really nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, I am back. I left you in the middle of a question from Greg that I hope Matt just answered for me.
We were a little concerned that you disappeared at the point in time.
I believe that my 30 days of my two-factor authentication in my Google Chrome just expired. And so it logged me out and I had to go do my two-factor again.
Well, welcome back. We're glad you're with us.
Mm-hmm. No, Paul, I was just asking if you could, I had a little story for you to reserve a laptop for me, and right when I was asking, you just logged off. And so apparently you were very serious that you were not going to be taking any emails, phone calls, or requests to hold laptops. So
yeah, that was very appropriate. Talk to the hand here.
Yep, got it. All right, will do. I will wait for the district announcements on social media.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. Well, the next little bit, I got a little warning, a little stay safe out there.
Oh, can I do my geek read?
Oh, sure. Yep. What's your geek read?
Oh, just very quickly. I just thought it'd be fun. Greg and Matt and I all kind of like to read different technology-oriented books. And are you seeing my screen sharing now?
Yes.
Okay. This is one that I found to be very enjoyable read. I actually listened to this on Audible, but for not very much, you can buy the print copy as well. But it's called The Everything Store, and it's kind of the story of Jeff Bezos and Amazon. It's a really interesting book that starts out with Jeff Bezos as a junior high student all the way through his early days of founding Amazon as purely a book reseller to where it's, you can basically buy almost anything that you could possibly imagine on Amazon. And then their evolution as a company to being a provider of cloud platform services through Amazon Web Services. I don't know if any of you use Netflix, but that's all run on Amazon Web Services on their cloud servers. So there was an outage a week or so ago that might have caught your attention, but it's just a really interesting book that really gives you a look into the personality of Jeff Bezos and just the evolution of the whole company from a bookseller to basically a huge technology platform company. So it's a very, very interesting book. Jeff Bezos is a very interesting person.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that, Paul. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, good.
So now I wanted to share a quick little tip, something to be aware of. So one of the things that we've been finding lately is that there's been a rise in malware or software that gets on your Mac for not or less than positive reasons. So we find, viruses are on the rise, spyware, things that track you online. We've been seeing more and more of those on the Mac. Unfortunately, though, it's still pretty easy to stay safe out there. And I know, Paul, you're going to share some stay safe tips and some reasons why people are starting to attack Macs now. But I do want to point out on Area 66, we do have a resource posted written by Kim Nielsen about how to kind of install some anti-malware software on your Mac. that'll go through and look for bad pieces of software that have been installed and then alert you to those and then let you delete them. And so it's a pretty simple installation, but I do just want to kind of point this out that this resource is available for you. And if you go to Area 66, you'll be able to find it. So if I go back to the home page, and then if I scroll down, I'll see it right here. Beware malware. And then check that out and it'll walk you through what to do to install this free software called Malwarebytes. Now, Paul, can you help us out here? Why all of a sudden are people attacking Macs and trying to steal people's passwords and account information and, you know, how they log into different websites? How come they're starting to do that more and more?
Well, one of the things is that every single account, whether it's especially like an Amazon account or a PayPal account or an Apple account, they actually have a cash value on the black market amongst the miscreant criminals that are on the internet. So there's this one site, InfoSec International here, that even talks about how a single Facebook account can actually be worth up to $50, or even just simple an email account is worth $5 to a criminal, all the way up to $100 for like a PayPal account or more. So obviously, if somebody gets into your PayPal account or your Amazon account or your Apple account, that can have some serious financial implications to you, because it allows people to purchase things, you know, on your credit cards. You know, that one-click buying can be used by somebody else as well. So that's a value. But, you know, in the last few months, we've seen a lot of people that have received emails that are actually coming from other people in the district that then ask you to click on a link, and then it takes you to a lookalike Google login. And if you're not careful and go ahead and put your Google password in again to this fake site, they can then take over your account, and the process just escalates. So where they take over more accounts and send more spam, mislead more people, take over more accounts, and it just grows and grows and grows. And some people might ask, well, what does it matter if they have my email account? Well, think about it. You know, all of your other accounts, say your bank account, your Apple account, your PayPal account, all those things, if you forget your password, how do you reset those passwords? Well, it's usually done through your just regular generic email account. So that is one of the ways that those email accounts are becoming really valuable, is because that's the way they can get control of many other accounts that have more financial value to you.
Can I just throw out there, I mean, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, I don't use my Westside email for my bank recovery email. But if they still compromise your account and they look through your contacts and they send out messages to people that are in your contacts and they fall for it, and then you're kind of just pushing the buck down the line too, and having more and more people have the potential to get compromised. So it's kind of a stay safe for yourself, but also stay safe for others, so that you're not contributing to this massive web of, you know, account fraud that can be out there.
You don't want to be the weak link in the chain and you know, expose the people in your contacts list to more of these. So, I mean, bottom line, if you get an email that, even if it clearly comes from somebody that you know, but it's just a real ambiguous, weird, incomplete message in the content with an,
so like if it said just "Hey there" and then had an attachment to download,
and then a link to click on, and if that link, when you click on it, if it takes you to a Google login, be very careful, because remember, you're already in your Google. There's no reason to have to log in again. So it's very likely that's a fake login, and you don't want to put your password in there, because they could take over your account and then just, you know, expand and fool other people from your account. So just be careful out there.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Those are some good tips to watch out for. The last little bit we wanted to touch on today was something that we've mentioned off and on over the past probably 6 months or so since we've had access to it. but we haven't really spent a lot of time specifically talking about it. And what I'm referring to is this new icon that's shown up in your Google Drive. And so underneath My Drive, you'll now see an icon that says Team Drives. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between My Drives and Team Drives. So the main difference here is that Team Drives are a new addition from Google, and they are set up and designed to be used as a team. So if you're just making a folder for yourself, you would not put that in Team Drives. That would just go in your My Drive like you've always used. However, if you're working together, say you're a, fifth grade curriculum group, or you're the social studies chair at the elementary, or you're on the US history team at the high school, those groups of teachers and staff would really benefit from a Team Drive. And so why would they benefit? Well, one of the ways that the Team Drives work is that everybody that's in a drive together as a team has access to those documents. So there's no concept of having sub permissions where some people can see some folders, but they can't see others. If you have access to see the Team Drive, you have access to those materials that are on it. Another huge benefit of Team Drives is when you upload a file into the Team Drive, the drive becomes the owner of that file rather than the individual. So it gets rid of individual owner settings and instead makes that for the team. And the reason why that's important is that if somebody were to leave the district, retire, resign, whatever the case may be, if they leave and it's in a regular drive and those folders or that account gets deactivated, those files are locked to that person and they can disappear, they can become uneditable, it can cause lots of problems. But if those files are in a Team Drive and that person leaves, that person just gets taken off the team and all of those files are still present, still accessible and available for everybody that's on that team. So that's actually a pretty huge advantage for using Team Drives. The other advantage is if we look at permissions, how we set those up, there are a few different levels of permissions here. Let me get those pulled up here. And so if I look here, I can see that full access means I have full access. I can add, edit, delete, change, anything that I can do with those files I have access to. However, a brand new role that they added is edit access. This means that that person can upload new files. They can edit files that are there, but most importantly, they can't delete files out of the Team Drive. So if you're working as a curriculum team, people having full access can add new files, they can edit files, and they can delete files. But say you wanted to add on maybe a student teacher to have access to that curriculum set of documents. Well, you want them to be able to view all the files and edit it, make changes if needed, add new files that they've created, but you might not want them to be able to delete files. And so edit access prevents people from deleting things.
No one would ever delete files out of a shared drive, would they?
No, I've never seen, actually, yes, I have. And it does happen quite common that people get files deleted. And so this is a great way if you're working on curriculum together and you want to share curriculum with teachers, that you could use this to prevent people from deleting it. The last two here, comment access and view access, are what they say. I can see all of the files, and then comment lets me add comments to them, and view lets me just view them without editing or changing. So that's kind of the big thing about why you should use a Team Drive, is because it gives you that ability to let people see documents, share documents, work on documents together, but it gives you control over who can delete those documents. And it also fixes the problem of when people leave the district or they get new positions, that those documents don't disappear.
That's very cool.
It's very cool. And
it's going to solve a lot of problems that have really caused us a lot of grief and work.
Safety first.
Yep. Now, a few things that I do want to point out that we've run into when we've been trying this with people is they work differently than regular drives. So the permissions are only applied for the entire Team Drive. So if I have edit permissions, I have edit permissions on every folder and every document. I can't say you can only view this one, but you can edit this one. It's all or nothing. So if you need those hidden things, either make multiple team drives and share them, or go through and use a regular Google Drive for that. Similarly, some people have tried to use team drives and then share them with students, and they only want students to see and edit subfolders. Well, that's really not the goal of a team drive. The goal of the team drive is to have everybody on the same page, collaboratively working together. So again, the solution would be use regular Google Drive and share those folders that way with students, or create a separate team drive that only has documents that students should be able to access. So there's no limit to the number of team drives that you can have. Make as many as you'd like, share them. And I'd be interested in hearing about how people have started to use these, because it's brand new and I'd love to just share examples.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, as we approach the end of our episode here, one of the things we're going to unapologetically do on a regular basis is kind of promote various courses on lynda.com. It is a resource that we have for every person in the district, all the way from kindergarten up to any staff member in the district. And there are just so many different good resources that are available. We really want to let people know that it's going to be available. We want everybody just to use it to the fullest. Greg, do you have a recommendation this week of a lynda.com course that you've looked at recently? You're muted.
One I just completed not too long ago was Leadership Fundamentals, and overall great course. About an hour and 24 minutes, so it was a little bit longer. And those, I mean, the thing that's so nice about those is the courses are broken out into titles, or you can even search through different categories they have to subcategories. So anyway, really good, nice basic idea, just to be thinking about how do I build my team, how do I get buy-in, some delivery of different instruction. Yep, that's it right there. So overall, very happy with the course.
And one thing that I would like to just show is that there are just so many different software applications and so many different courses that are on different levels. For instance, if I just did a search for iBooks Author, and if you look just for iBooks Author, which is an application that we have on all of our laptops, both students and teachers, it's available. There are about 6 courses at least that are just focused on iBooks Author. The shortest one is just 44 minutes long, and then there's another one that's almost 7 hours long. So you can just get a little bite, introduced to this powerful tool to create digital resources that can be distributed to your students or to other audiences, parents, etc. There's just so many different things. We just encourage everybody to go ahead and take a look at lynda.com. And there are resources online at Area 66 to help you know how to get started on that, or just ask us and we'd be happy to help you get on and get started so that you can explore this great resource that we have available for us. In closing, Matt, could you jump in and give us just a little commercial for Apple Teacher and talk about how we're progressing and its relationship to Apple Distinguished Schools applications, perhaps?
Definitely. Let me get this up here and share it. So I'm sure, as all of our viewers are aware, we've been making a pretty heavy push for Apple certified teachers at Westside. And so just to highlight again, we have a link on Area 66 that walks you through how to sign up and begin working on Apple Teacher certification. And then there's a couple changes I just wanted to highlight here. We found out that many many buildings in our district now are going towards the Apple Distinguished Schools certification. And so being an Apple Distinguished School is a pretty high honor, and it shows kind of the commitment to technology integration in the school. One of the requirements of being a Apple Distinguished School is that we get 75% of the building's teachers to become an Apple certified teacher. And so that's why we're really making a big push here to try to get more and more of our staff Apple Teacher certified. So as part of that, as a way to kind of manage everybody who's being Apple Teacher certified, On this page, I've now added a link to a form. And so once you've completed the Apple Teacher training on the appleteacher.apple.com website, and you've received notification that you have become an Apple certified teacher, I ask you to come to this document. And what you would do is you would just fill this out, indicate the building that you're at so we can keep track of things. You'd let me know which one of the 3 different options for Apple certification that you earned. Just mark it here, all or none, or all or 1 or 2. That's fine. For our purposes, we're just asking that you get one of these, so that if you complete the Mac one, select Mac. If you're an elementary teacher and you do iPad and Mac, that's fine. Or you could just do iPad, or you could just do Mac. It's up to you. And then you'll get an opportunity to take a screenshot from your profile page. And so this is kind of your proof, because when you take a screenshot like this, we see your email address, we see your name here, and then we'll see your certification that you earned. And so that's kind of nice. So then you'll upload that, and then you'll hit submit. And then once you hit submit, we'll review it, and then your name will be added to our leaderboard here of teachers at Westside that have become Apple Teacher Certified. So right now we have 26 that have completed the form, and we're hoping to dramatically increase that in the future as we go forward.
Excellent. Hey, thanks, Matt. And there's really good instructional material in this program that really talks about workflow and how to use the different apps that we have available to us on iPads and laptops, and just really offer some good things. And then, but basically, to pass a certification, you have to pass 5 quizzes. Is that it?
You have to get 4 out of 5 on, I believe, 8 different quizzes.
Okay, that's right. And if you are fairly familiar with technology, it's not overpowering to be able to pass many of those quizzes and make progress. And you can take the quizzes as many times as you want and work on those. So it is not crazy unachievable to get Apple certification. So it's some great content, but it's not unachievable for anybody. And we would be happy to help you. Anything else, guys, before we close out?
Nope, just a shout out to Kim Nielsen for letting me use his office today that he didn't know about. So thanks, Kim. Thanks for letting me barge in here that you didn't know you were letting me do.
Thanks again, gentlemen, for getting together with me and having this time together. And we appreciate all the people that are watching and listening. And hopefully you'll have enjoyed this. Express, what you've liked, what you don't like, and what you might want to see in the future. So thanks so much, guys. And thanks to our audience, and have a good rest of the week.
Hey, you too, guys. See you later.
Yep, thanks.